What's going on, guys? Welcome to my front yard and my car while it's raining. Now, I just wanted to share some potent path insights for you guys that I developed today in my contemplations and practice. So I asked for some assistance last night before bed, as all of you should, with specific aspects of what you're working on, helping you get back on track. Like if you feel like you fell off the wagon because of how days have unfolded, definitely do this before bed. Ask your spirit guides, your whole spirit team, the ascended masters and angels and all that, for literally just that. I say, help me get back on track with my path. Help me get organized and inspired again. Because I'm all over the place. There's so many different factors to what I do to develop, to try to ascend myself, to gain greater peace of mind, greater self-actualization, greater freedom from fear, that I get overwhelmed very easily. And I just have a whole bag of tricks that I don't necessarily know which one to pull from at any given time, especially if like my mental and energetic state has collapsed due to anxiety or overexertion, due to illness, and so on and so forth. So sometimes you just got to end the day. Sometimes you are in an irreparable state, so to speak, and it's just time to go to bed, and that's going to fix you. And then you can have a fresh start the next morning. And this is something that even Abraham Hicks advocates doing. If your vibration is beyond repair, so to speak, if it's too much trouble to fix it through your mental work, then maybe just take a nap and reset it that way. Okay. Anyway, so that was kind of the case yesterday. Very challenging kilesas, mental defilements, samskaras is another word for that I couldn't really work with. And I know enough now to see that when that's the case, it's because your mind is you're not meant to get into alignment. You're meant to investigate wisdom in those moments, because the mind is purposely configured in like a messed up way, because it forces your thoughts to follow a certain trajectory that you don't normally have to investigate, because everything's fine, right? So sneakily under the surface, these samskaras are existing and dwelling, and you don't know it because things are going well energetically and mentally, right? So the mind, the higher self, really, the Atman, gives you this gift of unalignment so that you are forced to, this is a weird angle, I'm sorry. Let's fix that. It forces this samskaric state upon you so that you are forced to examine these emotions, these mental outflows, whatever's going on within you, this state. Okay, and what is it composed of? What are these outflows occurring from? It's always some kind of belief program, a belief program, a bundle of beliefs that you typically adhere to that you don't have to, life doesn't force you to confront. Now you're being forced to, especially if you're somebody on a path of development like myself. I think this is particularly when this phenomenon will occur, when you're persistently raising your vibration, when you're doing that difficult inner work and diligently raising your vibration. Like, there's going to be things that need to be transcended. There's going to be like BS within you that can't come with you. It's got to go. And so your work is kind of pushing that to the surface to a point where it has to be confronted. Otherwise, you're either going to be stuffed back down through overwhelmment, right? Or you're going to work with it, see it for what it is. That's what your higher self wants you to do. It wants you to see the limiting beliefs and programs that it's composed of, and thereby ascend. And maybe you don't feel good still by the end of it, but you did what your soul wanted you to do, which was develop the insight and wisdom that's going to help be a stepping stone for you moving forward. Okay, so at the very least, even if you don't get alignment, and that shouldn't be your goal per se in these times, because it's basically impossible, at least for me, to do that. Like you can't go from 0 to 100, right? Like if your mind's aspiring for 100 when your current state is 0, then you're just going to have like constant despair about not being able to get there. You gotta work with that level 0. You gotta like chip away at it and be like, okay, happiness, that's not on the table today. Wisdom is on the table today. Let's crack at this marble statue and let's get all that juicy wisdom that I need to actually ascend myself. And, if I'm feeling happy by the end of the day as an end result of letting go of some stuff, so be it. But clearly this is one of those days where that's not on the docket, right? Okay, and you can use kriyas, you can use food, you can use tea, you can use different things to like make it go away, right? I don't have that luxury. And I'm sure like if this happens to you, your life will make it so that you don't have the luxury of escaping either. Like you can attenuate it a little bit here and there, but like it's gonna probably be a configuration where you can't. Like I would love to work out or just like go somewhere and do something to eliminate these states, but doesn't always work. It's not always an option. Anyway, yeah, so you're gonna have to confront these things as you raise your vibration. It's, for me, like anger has been a huge one, like feeling wronged, feeling like an injustice has been done to me. And ultimately, yes, so there is external injustice. We do want to point that out. Like people do need to fix things that they're doing, they're saying to you, ways they're talking to you, yes. But what is that part of you inside? What is within you that is offended, that feels that like perpetual burning of resentment towards them for doing that? That is what we want to target. That's an example of what a state such as that is trying to point you towards. It's trying to point you towards the fact that your being, yourself, the self that you are ascribing to, the bundle of beliefs that you're composing yourself out of right now, is an unpreferred one. It's a matrix, right? In mathematics, it's a matrix of unpreferred beliefs that are holding you back from moving you forward, is what you will find when you investigate. And you probably already know what they are if you've been developing yourself. You're probably already familiar with what this set of beliefs are that you keep holding on to, that you keep ascribing to, right? So these insalubrious, these inauspicious outflows, these unwholesome negative states of mind, it's raining hard. It's going to suck getting back inside. This is worth it, guys. Make this worth my while. Like and subscribe. Throw some comments down there. Share this with your friends, your families, and your house pets, okay? Anyway. So these negative outflows, they're indicative of the fact that your standpoint, your creational standpoint, so to speak, your doctrine of self, as I call it in Buddhism, your Atmavada, or Attavada in Pali, is wrong. It's not your real self. It's not your true self configuration, right? In terms of, now I'm speaking in terms of worldly manifestation, like, right? Like there's Atman, there's Brahman, the true self beyond creation, but then there's also like the highest, most crystallized worldly expression of who you are, body and mind, right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about right now. So your self standpoint, the one that's reflective of your divine self, is not there. You're holding onto a bundle of crap, and your higher self needs you to know it if you want to move forward. It's not going to let you feel good. It's not going to let good things manifest in your life until you do this, because yes, maybe you can get through, maybe you can get by with the manifestations in your life as they are. Maybe you can put up with it. Maybe you're really good. Maybe you're really good at putting up with stuff like I have been and just trying to like weasel your way through. But your life is calling you to a higher purpose. It's calling you to a higher paradigm, a higher configuration of external conditions. And so it's time to change. It's time to change. It's not going to let you put up with mediocrity anymore externally. And I don't want that either. So, if you're unable to change those things, if you're unable to change the self that manifests conditions externally that you don't prefer, then we're going to have one of these self-building days where you're just grappling with the bottom of the barrel emotions that just overtake your mind. Okay? So yes, use kriyas, use tools to the extent that you can to like help you get to the place where you can evaluate things to a healthy degree, right? Where you're not overwhelmed. But once you break through see if you can kind of look at these things. Be like, what is the sense of self that is generating these unwholesome states? What does it point to? What beliefs does it point to? What would I have to believe for this outflow to be a possibility in the first place? What am I holding on to? Right? And what you're holding on to is not something you want. It's not something you want. It's garbage. It's pointing you towards some buried treasure. All right? So take delight in this. It's not like leading you towards being like, oh man, I've got to let go of this now. Oh man. It's going to be something in your way. If presumably you're someone who wants to like ascend and go higher and like make something like real special of your life, right? Okay, so it's pointing you to piles of garbage that you don't know are there. Or you do, and it's just been challenging for you to like let go, right? So it's a perpetual process of identifying and releasing, releasing and replacing. Replace it with, so right, we find that dysfunctional Atmavada, dysfunctional self-doctrine, and once we find it, once we figure out what it's composed of, what the bundle of beliefs is, it's like, oh, it's that, and that. Oh, I'm not a healthy person. I'm not an abundant person, right? Those are some examples of insalubrious self-doctrines. Once we see we're doing that, once we see we're clinging to that, and once we see like, oh, well, why am I even clinging to those in the first place? What belief is having me think that that is the most rational standpoint to adhere to? Is there some kind of fear causing me to cling to those things? Well, if there is, you're in for more of a challenge than if it was simply just like something you were unaware of, right? Now you've got to identify that too, and we want to replace them. We want to replace them with a healthy Atma. I'm just going to keep using that. It's not like the context I would use the word Atman in. For me, that means like the enlightened self, the Christ consciousness, right? But right now, we're just talking about self, mundane selves. Okay. Find the configuration that aligns with the true self you prefer to be. One who has full financial capability at all times to achieve everything it needs, everything it wants and prefers. The self that has full, unstoppable health. Stop relating your conditions back, your external conditions, whether it's body or mind, to be honest, internal, to the idea of an ill self. A self that has this whole bundle of like sickness perceptions you've gathered, right? And I'm saying that from an immediate standpoint of somebody who is doing that, who's been dealing with chronic, severe, basically terminal illness. I'm gonna put that term on there. It's been a terminal illness, guys. Like it wasn't terminal because I did research and like have cared about like trying to fix it, right? But like, yeah, so I'm dealing with this chronic illness. It's been a huge obstacle to my spiritual path, my life path, my confidence, everything. And so you'll realize you're holding on to, you referring your experience, your external experience of phenomena back to this old clinging paradigm of illness. That is an example of you ascribing to the unhealthy self, the self that isn't going to let you manifest life the way you want, that isn't going to let you be happy the way you want, that isn't going to let you express yourself the way that you want to. Yeah? All right, so that's not like what I thought I was going to talk about in here. It's basically, it touches on the main themes of some of the things I was investigating today. I was kind of combining Buddhist practice with the belief work necessary to overcome obstacles to the path to samadhi, right? So it's all relates together. I didn't mention that yet, but like it can all be combined in one package, right? In worldly life, we kind of need to do this dual approach, okay? This is new yoga. This is new householder yoga, okay, that we're developing here. All right, stay tuned, 10 years in the future. So it's a little bit about my realizations today, my contemplations today. I did a lot of journaling. That really helped. There was like weird insights I could feel coming through as I was penning it down. That was new for me. So I'm glad I did it that way. So recommended. Write things down. Inspirations will kind of flow through you like you're Mark Twain or something, and like you've got like a little tribe of ETs up there kind of inspiring your proactive actions, right? Because they're allowed to, they're authorized because of your prudency. Prudency authorizes higher dimensional assistance. Remember that. Axiom. Throw that down in my book of axioms, guys. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this discourse. I'm going to stop there. The rain stopped just in time. Look at that. Wow, divine timing, guys. Yeah, there's like 3 raindrops left, but you know, it's done. Okay. So I'm going to go back inside. I'm going to go clean my house, clean my external, balance and order my life so I can order my internal life, right? And stay tuned. I'll see you guys next time. Yes, there'll be a cool video coming up soon. You'll see. All right, cool developments on the way. Peace out.